one-on-ones, and I mean, we really had a great rapport, and that rapport ended up with this movie happening. That was Jake McGinty. And personally, that's the ideal kind of relationship. And I mean, the footage he has and all the stuff I got, it's so much stuff, it's unbelievable. I mean, there's so much stuff. I think it's some really great, exciting stuff. And like, I've had a lot of people that wanted to do films on me, wanted to do this and wanted to do that. But the major difference is that people come in like they have an assignment to do. Or they want to film you because, you know, maybe you have a little name or something like this here, so on and so on. But the great thing is, like, I think, like, if you want to have a film made on you, have somebody that can understand what you're about. And they got a greater feeling on what to do. So, I hope the film, and I hope what I tried to do as a little tag on was satisfying to you, you know. So if you really want to do what real jazz is, you know, that doesn't belong, as far as I'm concerned. Some people may dispute that and get angry with what I'm saying. That comes from certain traditions. But to say jazz comes from a particular culture or ethnicity or religion, I think that does it injustice. Because the real jazz, when they talk about jazz, is real deep. We can all do it. But you got to go deep inside. It's not about looking outside and trying to figure this and figure that. That was like coming from a kind of social condition where you were neglected, you was denied, you was left out. And you say, you know what, I'm going to be included in some kind of system where I can express myself as a one human being to another human being. That was the real stuff. The way they got it today, you can go to all of the conservatories I know in the States. Everybody's cloned. You sound like you're coming off the assembly line. That was not what it was about. Everybody had their particular saying. So if you want to go, you could do it so many different kind of ways. It was how you would breathe with your breath is spirit. The root meaning of breath and breathing is spirit. All that's been lost. But somebody coming and you really feeling it and you deeply feeling it, if somebody comes and say, you playing the wrong note. No, you're playing the wrong note. When you try to clone me into it, it wasn't about that. You know, everybody talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You see, it doesn't work. That was not the real stuff. That's what I know for a fact by coming through that kind of situation, you see. So, yes, in the social, in the 60s, all that kind of environment gave you to say, I'm going to liberate myself. And that's for all human folks. And you don't have to act like you poor, like you suppressed. All you got to do is say, I want to liberate myself. I want to participate. I want my voice to be heard. You know? And that's what the real deal is. I don't know if I'm like a Tesla guy, you know. I'm not going to build them kind of weapons, you know. But there's some heavy-duty stuff going on, and hopefully we'll get some answers. So I would hold on that right now. Because I don't know if it's natural or if I don't know if it's somebody out here messing with stuff on us right now. But there's something deep going on, you know, and it sounds like it's more wicked than nature. It sounds like it's more wicked than nature, you know. And I just tell us, like, please, everybody, just hold on. You know, don't let them wicked vibes get to you, because there's some wicked things happening out here right now. And that's why it's important. And right now, what I'm dealing with is a lot of coordination between the artists and scientists. Yeah. It's a lot of that now I'm dealing with right now. Is Nina here?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, okay, we just finished something, right? At the Artists Institute, right? We just finished something. She had her display, her sculpture on, and unbelievable now, I guess I'm a sculpturist. That was not in the plan. That was not in the plan. And we got to take them, and we joined hands, and we could find out how to correct this doggone problem. And then it could be nature telling us, you human fools, wake up. You're screwing up. You know, you're really screwing up. If you think it's going to be about artificial intelligence, you know, and I don't think so. I don't know. That sounds like something else to me. So we're going to have to learn how to deal with it. I don't know if there's some robotic engineers in here. I don't want to knock you guys, you know what I mean? But we better make some get humans straight before we worry about some robotics. We got to get ourselves straight. We don't need no robots. Get ourselves straight first, and we'll do the job. You see, we're starting to get a little lazy now. I see a lot. We're getting a little too lazy. You can't deal with all that stuff there. You know, so this is I think a transitional period right now that we're going through, and we just can't give up. We can't give up. That's what it is. I'm still trying to hang on.
How did the Japanese movie school find you? You were already teaching at the college, university. How did they find out about your music and invited you to come to Japan? In that time?
In Japan?
Oh, the same movie?
Oh, there.
Yeah, I can ask a lot of questions, but it's so overwhelming.
Well, there is a musician that's not in there, Toshi Tsuchitori, that came here in 1975 to study with me. He was a drummer from Japan, and he wanted to come here to study with me. So he came here and studied with me. He studied drumming, he did the martial arts, and then about end of 1976, he said, how would you like to go to Japan? I said, I would love it. So he introduced me to this organization there that came to New York. And they said that they thought I would be ideal for the Japanese people. Yeah. They wanted about improvisation. They wanted to show the Japanese people what improv is. So I was invited, so I toured all over, and then I made a lot of connections there. But in 1977, so there was this, in the first row, there was this Japanese sitting in the first row, and he was in the middle seat, and he didn't move, and his bald head. And I asked him after, I said, who is that bald head man that's sitting in the first row in the middle seat that doesn't move? Oh, they said that's Min Tanaka. And he's a Buto dancer, and I didn't know what they was talking about Buto. And then for 4 years, Min Tanaka, they told me, would play my recordings, and he would dance. Then I got a call to come to Japan. And so we wound up into this, doing all this stuff throughout Japan. And that's one of our favorite ones. It was only a little clip from the autistic kids. Yeah. That was great. Yeah. I mean, when those kids walked in there like that, I said, wow. I said, I got to get serious. I said, I got to get deep into them. So I played that rhythm that I know that's always done in the so-called Santeria, or all the ritual stuff, whether it's voodoo or whether it's Afro-Cuban or whether it's coming straight out the Yoruba from Nigeria. And I said, because I know that rhythm is very effective. And that's when they start snapping in. And that little guy, he got up, that guy was just, I mean, he was in it.
Yeah, but
That's
as a drum, and I'm just wondering, when you speak about hitting the high notes, not knowing what you were doing, did you, when you practice acupuncture, distinguish between knowing and feeling, improvising and composing, sequencing the needles, or feeling the needles?
I'm trying to get that question in there. Okay, so you saw something of me.
There was a clip. You were playing the needles. You had your own. You did acupuncture.
They were wired. They had wires on them.
No, regular acupuncture needles.
Right? Oh, and I was hitting them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Playing them.
Yeah, I was playing. Okay, you was doing that there.
I'm wondering, when you improvise with the drum, you feel the room. You feel a body. You feel the needles, or because then you're messing with somebody's system directly as opposed to through waves.
And he talks about this. and it's the bass player William Parker. Okay, so William came up to my house a few years ago, but of course I asked him permission if I could mention this. So he came over and I recorded his heart sound. Then he came back about a year and a half later. And prior to him coming back, I used to tell William, I said, William, you know, I can make you a better bass player than what you are. And William be looking at me. And William was kind of cool and quiet. I know he wanted to say, who the heck do you think you are? Telling me you're going to make me a better bass player than I am. And you don't even play the bass. And so I was smiling at him. So he came back over, about a year and a half, 2 years later. I said, William, you never heard your heart sound, huh? He said, no. So I put it back on, but I put on his heart sound that I had made all these changes through, you know, and that's another little story how we do it, you know, because I built all these algorithms to convert how the actual heart, the membrane and everything is really vibrating, not the opening and closing of valve, not the ba-boom, ba-boom, because there's information in between there. You just have to know how to get in there, and you got to know how to amplify different sectional parts of how the heart is moving. Usually we don't hear that. So ba-boom is just the closing and opening of the valves. It's not the true way of way the heart is actually sounding. So he's sitting down there, and I put on this recording, and after about a minute, he said, wait a minute, that's a recording you have of my bass playing. I said, William, do you think that's your bass playing? He said, yeah. I said, William, you made my day, man. I said, if you thought that that was your bass playing, I must be doing something correct. So, to answer that question, the music I listen to, because I have hundreds of heartbeats on, heart sounds, from musicians to people that's just ill, and I just started another collaboration with an old friend of mine who is a holistic doctor. You know, he's a medical doctor. The reason I say medical doctor, because he set up, and he now can send me all of the wave files. We set him up in his office, all the wave files of patients that got all kind of problems. I mean, really all kind of problems, and we're making these conversions. So what I do is I sit down and I listen to the melodic, you know, the melody that I'm creating from these heartbeats. So that's what I listen to now. The real way we vibrate. Because I'm asking a musician, what's your purpose of doing music? Why do we do music? So you're going to take me to a classroom where somebody else or a few people have conceptualized based on what they feel, and they lay down the rules. And that rule is relative to maybe what they feel. But that's not really representing how we vibrate. And that's the new thing everybody talking about, vibrations. How does the cells vibrate now? Not the motor music, not just how the muscles or the tendons vibrate. We're talking about how the cells and deep down cells, on the really micro, how do they vibrate? You see, and that's what we should be studying, at least as musicians. We need to study, if you're going to have an audience of people, how do humans vibrate? And then we got to make sure we are doing that. You know, we go into restaurants today, you may eat, but for me, if you go into a restaurant, at least a meal should be composed of all of the basic elements that we need to keep us intact. So our body is vibrating one type of way, and we go and learn to do it this way and that way and so on, and it may not have nothing to do with how we're vibrating. Okay, we'll take it in, just like you take food in, the body's saying, what the hell is this pesticide doing in here? What is this insecticide doing in here? I don't need this, I don't need that. Okay, so it throws it out of the body. So what do you think is happening with the sound when it goes in? The body's saying, where did you get that from? I don't vibrate like that. So your body is stressed up because it has to realign itself to make sure that that's going to be a harmonic component of how we vibrate. So we are supposed to get an understanding of how we vibrate, and that's what I involve myself in now. So I want to see, how do we vibrate? So everything I'm trying to play right now is based off hundreds and hundreds of melodies, and some of them are so closely aligned, it's unbelievable. So there's some basic stuff that we are supposed to be doing. And when I come into the room, that's when the spiritual aspect comes in. I'm trying to feel, you know, what you're about. I don't come in here with something already preconceptualized or precomposed, just saying, I compose this tune, so listen to me. If you don't understand it, you don't know what's happening. That's going to be composed on what I feel from here. I try to feel it. That's what we are musicians, we're vibrating. We're supposed to be dealing with vibration. and I don't want to upset because I'm always talking with the composers. I said, I'm not trying to knock guys out of right notation. I said, you still compose, but we got to learn how to be spontaneous composers. That's the high level of it. When we can come right in and we know how to fix you up right away.
It's their ego also.
Right. You know what I mean? It's a whole bunch. But in New York City, everybody's a composer right now. Well, you gotta compose, else you don't get a grant.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the people. That's about sending something in to get a grant. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to do that now. But you go up and do some spontaneous improvisation. That's the highest form. It's easy to sit down and lay out instructions yourself and you memorize everything, And then after you done play 10 tunes, and they say one more. Well, I don't know one more. I got to go home and write that one again. You got to be able to deal with that right on the spot. That's a high level. But I always tell people you should learn how and what we've been exposed to. So learn the basic way. So that way you'll know not what to do, or you'll know what people are expecting. But if you don't know that, you see, somebody's going to come up and tell you what's happened in the 60s. Well, you're not a musician because you don't know your chord changes. Man, you don't know how to read. I've seen some musicians get devastated. Now, in the movie, the trumpet player there, Arthur Williams, he's no longer with us. That guy was phenomenal. He didn't read music. He couldn't write music. He could put that trumpet to his mouth.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I tried to tell him, don't go to the conservatory. I said, you got something that these trumpet players want.
They're just jealous also sometimes of your own, that you just want to be who you want to be. And the guy looked amazing with the mustache. I told him wow, this is such a strong, and you two look really.
Well, I'll tell you
I
what.
wish more people did that,
He played at Slugs, and this was in the 60s, and he came up to my house. He said, I was at Slugs and Freddie Hubbard was there. He said, Freddie Hubbard came up and said, man, you hit those high G's. He said, what's a high G, man? I said, Arthur, just keep playing whatever you did. And in that same one, I told him after, I said, Diz was in the front row, because we was on tour with Dizzy Gillespie, we had this group. And Diz was like, I said, man, you had Diz gone, man. He was blowing Diz away. This guy was knocking out all of the major trumpet players.
Yeah.
And he couldn't tell you what note he was playing. This guy was so gifted. I said, make up your own theory. Make up your own concept. And they'll start following you.
Yeah.
When Cecil Taylor hired him, Cecil said, you can't read my music, but man, just whatever you think's supposed to be there, just play it.
Yeah.
Everybody was loving this guy.
Yeah, he was.
And I had to try to restore confidence in this guy, confidence in this guy, and confidence in this guy. He was a typical example to be put on the planet.
Yeah.
Put on the planet to show people another way of how to do it.
Yeah.
You see, but he just didn't have that kind of belief system in himself. But he loved that trumpet.
But he looked like that. With his, yeah.
Oh,
It was
no,
really
no.
pretty
Because
fun.
you know what? When he was with me, he had a lot of confidence. Because I would keep always telling him, man, you're great, man. You're great.
Cool.
You're great, man. You know?
What's his name again?
Arthur Williams.
Yeah.
Is he on YouTube?
Nee, but the
no,
band,
he
the
didn't get too
band.
much playing on YouTube.
And the name of the band? You said we were in a band?
No, he was in a band on the trumpet player on there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But he played with a few people, and that was it.
Oh.
And he left us. He's been off the planet for a little while now, unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a question right there.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did turn down a Miles Davis gig. I turned it down twice. You know what I mean? But I refuse to be on the stage with Miles Davis, and he turned around and said, "Shut up! Shut up!" Because I was at Birdland when he had the band with Herbie Hancock, Ron Carter, and Tony Williams. And the three of those guys started taking it up a little bit. They were still inside. And Miles turned around, shut up! Miles couldn't go with him. He said, just shut up! And then when Miles heard my recording, because a friend of his, a close friend of his, had brought one of my recordings to his house, and he was playing it, and Miles said, he's a revolutionary, huh? Can he play time? Well, no, will he play time? I said, that's it. And then when I thought about it, I said, you know what? I probably would have got along with Miles. Because if when Miles said that, I said, Miles, you want to put on some gloves and go down to the gym? Because Miles loved boxing.
Yeah.
So I said, we would have probably hit it off. By me going down there, come on, Miles, we're going to slug each other in this ring. He probably said, man, you can do whatever you want to do. But yeah, I did turn it down twice.
Probably have so much to tell.
Yeah, it's true, it's true.
I'd like to ask, did you ever make it up to the loft of the photographer W. Eugene Smith, Midtown, in the late 50s, early 60s, where a lot of people were hanging out and jamming after midnight?
Oh, no, you said in the late 50s?
Late 50s, early 60s?
Oh, no, not the late 50s. And where was this loft?
I'm not quite sure. I think it was on the meatpacking district, flower district, Manhattan.
I played in some lofts when everybody was there. You know. I played downtown, Lower East Side.
Because, yeah, everyone was there, from Monk to...
Oh, no. Those guys there, I would have been there, you know.
Okay, thank you.
You know.
Did you took a lot of drugs around that time? Like LSD stuff?
Huh?
Did you take a lot of drugs in that
If I
time?
may ask, I'm sorry. Like about
Oh, yeah, this is getting very interesting. You know what? You know, as an elder, you know, I tell people, you know, one thing about getting a little older, you don't give a hell what you say sometimes. You know what I mean? You ain't no more secrets. You know, you got to lead the planet. And I try to do this there to help the young people out. You know, I just drink too much wine, and you get drunk, and then I smoked too much reefer. You know, and when I was playing Latin jazz, you know, you smoke the reefer and the wine, and I thought I was happening. You know, everybody in my neighborhood said, you can play them timbales and all them coons and stuff. I thought I was doing something until I got serious and wanted to do some more stuff that I had to concentrate. I said, you can't do that. I couldn't do that. Maybe somebody else can, and I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You know, there's a story about Art Blakely. A lot of people were saying about Art Blakely that Papa Joe Jones used to say Art Blakely couldn't play. You know, and everybody don't know why people would say other people couldn't play, but there's reasons, and I know a lot. But I definitely know when people would say Art Blakely was screwing the time up all the time. He'd be screwing up. And I said, it wasn't that Art Blakely didn't have the ability to keep the time, but he'd be playing, and all of a sudden he started nodding off. Then he snapped back in, and they way down the block, and Art Blakely, wait a minute, wait for me. And that's how he was screwing up. There's some drugs. You see, so that was the period. At least when we came in to the 60s, everybody was trying to clean themselves up.
But maybe not during playing, but like when you in the movie, you also see those colorful things, and when you take maybe LSD or like.
Oh no, not me.
Then you see those waves.
No, they look like LSD waves. You know, I mean, I don't know.
No, my lecture. Maybe not even the same thing, but I was just wondering if that also opened up a lot of doors in your mind, like. Yeah, I was just wondering because it was the 60s.
Yeah, I'm just wondering too. I'm just wondering too. Do you take drugs?
Yeah.
Are you high right now?
No.
Are you high right now?
No.
She sounds like she feeling good, huh? She tripping.
Yeah.
What you got for me? I don't want none of that stuff right now. You keep it in your whatever. I don't want it.
Come home with us and we're gonna make a talk party.
Real different room set, huh? Get really unconservative in here.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I was just, yeah.
No, that's cool. I love it.
Okay.
I love it. Ain't no problem.
Cool.
There.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You and then the lady back there and Mr. back there.
Oh, yes. To get a balance like that there, that's another deep thing. But you can't get caught up into that, whereas you can't come out. So that's how that trip from Japan came. I went over there, they spotted me, They said, you'd be great. So they sent me throughout Japan, playing all in the countryside for farmers and everything. And I do the whole bit. And then when I would do my martial arts, I knew I was going out because a lot of martial artists would come. So I had to do my dance. But it was like a dance with martial arts. And that caught them.
Yeah.
I gave them a little more bounce with the martial arts. I wasn't straight out like the way they would do it. I'd be dancing, but they can recognize the movements. Then I started generating all these people. The healers started coming out and everything. And so, that's in short how it happened.